Hello there, Bernadette McClelland here, and once again, thank you for joining me, sharing the underpinning principles around the philosophy of story selling. I know is hitting a mark. Now, I have shared the first three principles of story selling, which is story selling inspires change, story selling is root cause focused, and story selling is strategy in pictures. For today, I want to focus in on principle number 4, which is story selling de-risks decisions. Now, we may think that creating desire is a wonderful part of selling and it's going to get us so far down the track. We may think that helping a buyer or realizing that we've understood the need of a buyer is enough for us to put the proposal on the table and win the business. But it's not. It used to be in the past, but not today. Today, it's all about mitigating the risk. It's all around de-risking the decision that our buyer is faced with making. And we can only do that if we are in a collaborative and a commercial engagement with the buyer and we understand their story, because it doesn't matter what we're selling today. It doesn't matter if it's a product, if it's a service, if it's an idea, but we will never get a decision from our buyer if we haven't helped that buyer to identify and justify the cost of the problem, or we haven't helped them identify a reason to change. Okay, by understanding their story and aligning a metric, quantifying a problem. Too many sellers simply find a pain point or an inconvenience, or they see that the buyer is excited about something that they've mentioned about their offer or their solution, and they dive down the rabbit hole, making this huge assumption that that's what the buyer wants. Now, it's really interesting. It was a few years ago, and my husband and I had gone shopping, and we were in a mall, and we'd stopped by the jewelry store looking in the window, and we lingered there for a lot longer than any of the other shops. And in that moment, I was saying, oh, that's a nice watch, that's a nice ring, and whatever. My birthday was a few months later. I opened up my gift from Tim, and there was this beautiful watch. There was nothing wrong with the watch. It was one of the watches in the window, but he must have seen the look on my face, because he said, aren't you happy with it? Don't you like it? And I said, I love it. It's lovely. And he said, it just that you don't seem to look like you like it. I said, no, it's got nothing to do whether I like it or not. It's just that I've got a watch that I love that's working fine. Now, if this watch that I had was no longer working, I would have grabbed this gift and put it on straight away, and he would have seen a totally different expression on my face. He made a huge assumption because I said that I really liked it, that I needed it. And herein lies the distinction. We are with a buyer, and they give us all the nice, warm, fuzzy buying signals, and we get sucked in. And we make huge assumptions, and we head down the track of the demo, the proposal, and the close. And we wonder why we're ghosted, and we wonder why we're rejected. What's missing is this whole front end where we have forgotten about eliciting and finding out, A, what the problem is, the story first, and then digging deeper to get the story behind the story. And then what we're not doing is we're not quantifying that problem. We're not putting any metrics to that problem. And if you don't do that at the end of the whole sales process, when it comes time to give the price is not aligning to the cost because you haven't done that. And this is an essential story that we need to identify upfront. And this is where, as salespeople, we are typically so hardwired to be positive, to look at the benefits, to be able to say, so what this means to you, Mr. Buyer, is X, Y, and Z. We are so hardwired to be possibility focused that all we're doing is we're talking about how much money they can save and how much time they can save, when it's got nothing to do with that at all. And so being able to elicit these essential stories, what I call the essential stories, this is a huge, huge opportunity for sellers to join the dots, to find that missing jigsaw puzzle piece. Once you can do that, everything changes. And so when I talk about story selling is all about de-risking decisions, this is what we go deep into. Because this approach that you need to come to the market with, this approach is a coach approach. And so, you're going to hear that from me time and again. So I want you to consider, what is a part of the sales conversation that you are missing out on? And as a result of that part that you're missing out on business. So let's kind of travel this path together for the remainder of the year. I want you and will encourage you to follow me on a couple of different platforms. I want you to go to YouTube and subscribe to The Story Seller. It's a new channel that I have kicked off on YouTube, and I'm going to be putting these videos up there. I want you to ring the bell next to my name on LinkedIn and subscribe to my newsletter on LinkedIn. And I also want you to go to my site, shiftandisrupt.com, where you'll find some resources that I will be putting there to help you stop selling widgets and start selling wisdom, because that is what your buyers are expecting from you today. So on that note, have a think about your conversations, have a think about how are you identifying and articulating the cost of the buyer's problem, if at all you're even identifying a problem. And on that note, have an amazing day, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Bye for now.